Today, we'll look at a relatively simple but effective exercise for lengthening and widening your back. This exercise is scalable in a number of ways and will be useful for everyone from a gym rat to an elderly person, because nearly everyone could be lengthening and widening their back more than they currently are. When your back is narrowed, and today we'll mainly talk about the upper back, we can understand that by looking at the grain of the muscles there. If these muscles are shortened, they will shorten along the grain. That will pull the shoulder blades in. The arms will end up back, and the lower ribs will go forward. You might say, wouldn't this widen the front? And in some senses it does. Many people flare their ribs and protrude their abdominal region. When you're young and fit, this sometimes looks okay. But you lose your back and you'll be leaning all the time. So there are many reasons this is still not ideal. And if you're not young and fit, it's often blatantly undesirable and produces many of the commonly recognized postural problems. What we'll aim for in this exercise will look different, possibly like something you haven't seen in the people around you, but you'll find that it genuinely widens your shoulders and gives you a strong, full back. First, we need to define the armpit line on the body. You can put a stick under your armpit if you want, or just use your hands to find the height of your armpit on your torso. Imagine there's a string wrapped around you at that height. If you're elderly and even reaching for your back like that is tough, have someone else find this line on your back. Today, we're going to imagine that there's a big handle at the height of the armpit on our back. We'll call it the armpit vertebra. For this exercise, you need a stick or an elastic band, or really you could do it with almost any object, or even no object, but it will help to have an external object at first. What you do is you hold the stick or band out in front of you at the height of your armpit. Get your elbows to be in front of your rib cage, and make sure your elbows are lower than your hands. Your elbows will be bent, that is what we want. Then you pull the handle at your armpit vertebra back and up, while at the same time moving your elbows and arms slightly forward. What we want is to expand the distance between the elbow and arms going forward and the back at the height of the armpit going back. This will be a major stretch for most people. If this doesn't feel like a stretch, if there's no discomfort at all, you're likely not doing it right or not going far enough. So let's look at the major mistakes that you might make. You need to make sure that you don't pull the top of your rib cage or your head back. Lifting the back of the rib cage should rotate the rib cage in such a way that the top front end stays forward. Think that when you're pulling your elbows forward, you are also pulling the top of your sternum forward. Be careful, but you can also think of moving your face slightly forward. Don't do anything extreme with your head, definitely don't go down with your head or chin, but most people will want to pull their head back when they move their armpit vertebra back. See if you can do the opposite and go slightly forward with your face. You can also pull apart on the stick or elastic by pulling your elbows apart. Imagine like you're trying to rip the stick in half. Remember, we are widening the back, so make sure you pull your elbows out. Do not lift your shoulders. It's possible to accidentally lift your shoulders when you want to lift the back of your rib cage, so be careful. This exercise can be done in sitting for beginners, and those with more experience can do it in standing or really during any gesture. The last thing to be careful with is that you don't want to shove your abdomen or pelvis forward while doing this exercise. We are lifting the back of the rib cage, and that should move the lower ribs back. Don't counterbalance the backward movement of the armpit vertebra with a forward movement of your pelvis or abdomen. Now, don't do reps of this. We don't want to shorten and lengthen and shorten and lengthen. Make the set of movements, then see if you can go a little further. Just stay in that posture for a little while, and breathe calmly without audibly sucking air in or blowing air out. Try to reduce the effort you're using to make the movements without losing the change that you've made. It may seem kind of still or calm, but this is an exercise. And as always, Check with a video or a mirror to see that you're really succeeding. If you do this properly, you will be lengthening all these muscles in your back. The distance from the back of your arm to the back of your body will drastically increase compared to the average person who has basically no distance whatsoever because of how they're using their torso. As I said, this will be a real stretch for most people. The best part about this exercise is that you have to get opposition between the movements of the arms and the movements of the torso to succeed. And you should find that you have a much sturdier torso, as well as better control of your arms after making this adjustment. The reason this happens is because we are lengthening the fascia and musculature, which allows them to function better. Try using these oppositional movements while you swing a bat, or sing a song, or are trying to get your breath. You should see a difference. Most people are constantly doing the opposite movements, which causes the fascia to be limp and the muscles to have reduced function. Even when the muscles are strong, if they're short, they're not going to function optimally. Give it a shot and let me know your experience. Leave a comment. Ask a question if you need to.